Yeah. Okay.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Baddies DH1. Previously on Baddies DH1, the contestants were thrown into our own version of The Bachelor. They were set up on a blind date with a hopeless romantic bachelor that they had never met before. He judged them based on how they presented themselves in a blind date with him. They had to create an online dating profile and show their best selves. Ultimately, he decided that his heart had been won by Constance, and Constance won the lesson and won immunity from the elimination, the expulsion. After that winner was decided, it was then brought back to the rest of the students to decide who would be facing Jimmy and I on the carpet. Ultimately, it was decided that Ida and Anthony would be sent down to the carpet by the other students, and Constance, for winning the lesson, got to make a sole vote and send who he thinks deserves to be in the bottommost, and he chose Cody. So Cody, Ida, and Anthony all faced us in the bottom. It was a rough plea for everyone to save themselves from elimination. But ultimately, as we said in the beginning of the game, you never, ever volunteer to go down to the carpet. And because of that, Anthony had to be the next person expelled from the Coco Academy. We're now down to our final 6 competitors: Constance, Ida, Cody, Debbie, Mark, and Rafi. For this round, they were divided into 2 teams of 3, where they had to put on their own podcast for Isaiah's podcasting network, Silent Podcast. They had to pick a topic to talk about as a group, and they had to impress a podcaster from the Silent Podcast network. Tonight, the best student from each team will be awarded immunity and advance through to the semifinal of the season. After that, we'll come back and we'll do some expulsions. So, because I think that there's been a lot of dirty laundry that has not been unaired, I'm going to bring one of the production members, Kyra, forward to kind of talk with you guys and maybe air some things that haven't been aired yet. I'm going to go ahead and fetch the results from our guest judge. And so until then, students, as a reminder, Assistant Headmaster Pinks is listening. So I will be back.
All right, hey guys, how's it going?
What's
Hi,
up,
Cody.
Hi, Kyra.
Ida, your hair looks great. Debbie, your hair looks also great.
Thank you.
Oh, you gonna start?
Okay, so Cody,
You want it up in ponytail?
I'll just ask you guys some.
I like how you do.
Okay, I'll just ask you guys some questions, I guess. All right, so something that hasn't been
Wait,
to the
Ida, if you
public
don't
is that Cody.
put your shit on put your shit on mute.
Whoa. Hello.
So Ida
Okay.
put her on mute.
Yeah. Anyways. All right. Thank you. Okay, guys, let me speak. All right. So what I was saying was, Cody, the word on the street is that you seem to be quite the diva when it comes to working on a podcast with. So how are we feeling about that?
Did you say I'm a diva?
It's the word of the street is that you've been a diva and kind of hard to work with when it comes to making a podcast.
If that's exactly what the word on the street is, then that's the word on the street. Again, that's all gossip and that's all assumptions. Unless it can be proven, then it's not factual because I can prove facts. I have receipts. I love receipts. That's like number one thing. So when it comes to a podcast communication, I think that if there's a team of 3, there were 2 people talking and 1 person was hiding. And so we'll leave it like that.
All right, I'll hop it on to the next person. Okay, so Ida, you even did a podcast while getting your hair done. I think that's pretty cool. So how do you think? I know there was like issues with it the first time with the connection and everything, but how are you feeling about your performance this time around?
I think I did good, and I knew so much about the subject, and I knew exactly what I was going to say, and I hope that gives me the win. I really want the win, and I did the best I could, and I hope my best was enough.
All right. And Mark. Yeah. Okay. The newbie. So I've been watching, like, I saw some of your podcasts and everything. And so how do you think that you did in the performance?
I feel like I performed very well. In all honesty, I mean, I kind of picked the subject for my team. They agreed with the subject that I came up with. I felt like it was something that everybody could talk about equally, and everybody had comfortability, I guess, talking about. So I wanted to kind of have an equal playing ground for everyone. And I feel like that's why we all kind of smashed it.
All right. Cody, you can put your hand down. I'm not ready for you yet. Okay, so Constance. So apparently there's been a message that you sent privately to a member on the team that was sent publicly in the house chat. How are we feeling about that?
I don't really feel any particular type of way because I came to somebody else in a similar fashion to try to have a mature conversation as well. Debbie can back me up when I had a call with her that night about just basically trying to help people understand where I was coming from about why I decided to do what I wanted to do. Obviously, she understood on the call, and I decided to do the same thing the next morning and send that person a message as well, letting them know why I decided to do what I do. But obviously, it wasn't necessarily reciprocated the same way. So it just is what it is, and people have their opinions, and I'm just going to let them feel the way that they feel, unfortunately. So.
All right, Debbie, you've been killing it in these challenges. You killed it in the debate, and then it looked like you were doing a great job on the podcast. And being on season 12 with you, I know it was the complete opposite. So like, how are you feeling about your stand?
Yeah.
How are you feeling about your standing in this game?
I mean, I'm not going to make excuses, even though I wasn't there for like the top 5 due to like schedule and another org conflict, but I probably wouldn't have won those water one. I wouldn't have won those anyway. I feel like, okay, so first of all, I feel like I obviously did do a good job in the debate, but Rafi killed it. That's why it was like, hard for me against him. Obviously Constance won the date, but I was up there with him. So I feel like these challenges are more like my speed. I've been on a podcast a few times before. I love podcasting. I did like the topic that Mark picked, and unfortunately, due to, which is no one's fault, not Ida's fault at all, but due to technical difficulties, I didn't get to see Ida. So it was just me and Mark mostly talking back and forth. And I thought we both did a good job on like just exchange, just like if you're on a podcast shooting the shit, just like exchanging banter and stuff. So I thought that went well. So I'm feeling, I'm definitely, look, I'm always cautiously optimistic because you never know what's going to happen in this game. I don't want to ever like get my hopes up, but I'm definitely feeling better in terms of my challenge performance this time versus last season. And like I said, I think the physical challenges are just not my forte.
All right, and Rafi, you've been pretty like quiet most of the season, and like the last few lives, you've had like a lot more to say, and especially when it came to how like and in groups, like particularly with Cody and everything. So how are you feeling about everything when it comes to that?
When it comes to me being quiet?
No, when it comes to you, when it comes to you being more like outspoken now.
Oh, I just think I really have found sort of my stride, sort of my comfortability levels have like risen. I think at the beginning, we definitely had a lot of strong personalities vying for attention. So that's why I was mostly quiet. And now as those strong personalities are going, I feel more comfortable speaking up and speaking my piece.
All right. And do you think it's certain people in the cast that are bringing like more of the messiness out of you?
No, I'm just a messy individual. I'm just always messy. Aren't we all? Aren't we all? If we're all baddies, aren't we all? Aren't we all?
Very true. Cody, I'll bunny hop on back to you because it looked like you had something to say.
Yeah, so I just definitely like to just come back in and comment when it comes to like being a diva, and then also about like the whole Constance and me stuff. Like really, Constance shot his shot and it was denied. He thought that it was okay. And then whenever something that got accidentally posted in the group chat, because it was actually sent to Constance at the same time, where he said everybody Everybody. Let's just like make sure that you guys know everybody. So that means that Mark, Ida, Rafi, he said that you guys wanted me in the bottom and wanted me gone compared to Debbie. And you guys are all on this whole entire like, oh, it's a strategic thing, season 12. But you guys are very misconstrued because number one, if I was season 12, don't you think I would have kept Lucy? If I was season 12, I voted Lucy in day one. Day one. So what do you have to say about that strategy? And then what do you say about whenever I put her up and put her down in the bottom and she went in the bottom and she got eliminated? Strategy? No, she needed to go because she was not improving. And so when it comes to being real, I am being real. When it comes to strategy, there is strategy, and you guys are all playing strategy. So please don't come in here and act a certain way with your good morning text. And I hope that you all do well in the challenge. And oh my God, and I'm on my way home from work. And I just want you guys to know that I'm available for chats. And I'm just here and I'm going to post a picture of my beef stroganoff. And I'm going to do this, but you didn't post a picture, did you? But you were able to post a picture of your bitch later on that you fucked. So again, please don't come in here acting a certain way when you're fake as fuck. Again, I told you number one, don't come to my door with shots because you're gonna miss them and I'm gonna come 10 times harder and I'm gonna hit them. Constance, it's been nice knowing you.
I'm a big fan of beef stroganoff. Oh, Ida, it looks like you have a question.
Yes, I would like to say that I did tell him that I did not say that. It was words put in my mouth, but me and Constance handled that. I had to clear it up.
Yeah, me and her had that easy conversation because it's all about having that conversation. So yeah.
So again, you threw her name in there and you said everyone, but you said everyone except for Debbie. So you missed Ida in that conversation.
I did.
You missed Ida. You missed
I
Ida in that conversation. You missed Ida in the conversation.
I did miss Ida in the conversation.
Yeah, exactly. So
I can actually own up to what I say and misunderstand.
So again, when it comes to like when you want to throw people under the bus.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Most definitely.
Wow.
Was there anything else that they wanted to talk about? Well, thank you, Kyra, for taking the floor. So I guess me and Assistant Headmaster Pink will take the floor. So I'm just going to state things from production, and I'm going to state things from Naomi, just because Isaiah's not here. So I will take that. So the first thing that I want to say was that it was brought to production's attention that somebody had broken a rule in the game. So in accordance to DH1 rules, which you all were made aware of in the beginning of the season, you guys are not allowed to screenshot messages. You're not allowed to send video messages that you have with other people, and you also can't forward messages. And there was a player in the game that did forward a message over to another player, and that was Cody. So production did make a decision, and what they had decided upon was to disqualify you from this challenge. So what that means was, depending on what Naomi had judged, if you won the immunity.
I'm sorry, excuse me. I'm sorry. I need a little bit of clarification. He's disqualified from this challenge or from this game?
They said he's disqualified from the challenge.
Can I clarify exactly what happened? So
I already know what happened,
baby. So when I was responding to Constance's rant, I hit forward to like I went to reply to his stuff, and then when I replied and quoted his message, I hit the wrong button, and so it went into the wrong chat, but it also went into his chat at the same time. I'm gonna take whatever punishment there is that you're gonna give because that's the rules, and I'm fair like that, strategic. But number one, I definitely want to point out that, hey, when you say everyone, I'm going to point it out to you that you can't say everyone. And I'm sorry that it got blown up in the fucking group chat that you saw that, but it wasn't purposely or intentful.
Okay. Well, it's not my decision, and I see whose decision it is. We all good.
Whose decision is it? Okay, I just want to clarify something really fast, that even though I'm taking over in a hosting spot right now, that I'm not the producer of the show. You know, I didn't sign up to be the producer of the show. I didn't sign up to come up with all the things for the show. I didn't sign up to be the bearer of bad news for things. I didn't sign up to make all these decisions. So I'm just kind of getting annoyed that every time something happens, I kind of get like yelled at. So I just want to make it clear that even though I'm stepping in right now, that I'm not the producer of this show. I signed up to be a judge, and that's it. Okay? Anyways, I'm going to move on. So I listened to what Naomi had said about each of your performances in the challenges tonight. So I'm going to start with the first group. What Naomi had said about each of you was, in the first group, it was Mark, Debbie, and Ida. Ida had some internet issues because she was not home at that time. So production allowed Ida to do a redo of the podcast and do what her part would have been. She was given less time than her group was. I believe it said she was given like, what, 5 minutes for her part. So it was basically what she would have been allotted if she was there. So what Naomi's critiques were of Mark and Debbie was she felt like they both did a pretty good job. Where she felt like they both struggled was they weren't facilitating questions, which is a really important part of a podcast. Facilitating the questions, keeping the conversation moving. She said that they were pretty neck and neck, but ultimately the person that she would give the win to is Mark. And the reason why she decided to give the win to Mark was because she felt Mark was better at staying on topic. And Debbie, she felt like where you kind of stumbled was you rambled on a little bit. Okay. So that means that Mark, you are the winner of immunity and you are safe from expulsion tonight. Ida, what the critique was for you was she felt like you did a really good job. She felt like you were strong in your deliverance. But ultimately, she didn't go on too much about how she felt about you. But she said that she still felt like Mark was better. But she did say that she felt you were stronger than Debbie in keeping the conversation moving. So her ratings overall was Mark #1, Ida #2, Debbie #3. For the second group, she felt like overall you guys were a much stronger podcasting group. So if this was a team-oriented challenge where one team was safe and the other team was not, you guys would have won. She felt like you guys did a much better job at facilitating the questions, and she felt like you guys really felt like a podcast. So ultimately, what her critiques were was she felt you all did a strong job, but she was really neck and neck between Cody and Rafi. So that means that the person that she had decided to give the win by a narrow margin, because she said there had been some technical problems, I guess. So Cody, you would have been the winner of this challenge. But unfortunately, since you were disqualified, your immunity is gone. So that means that tonight, the only person that is safe from expulsion is going to be Mark. So congratulations, Mark. You will be advancing to the top 4. That's because this is a double elimination tonight. So tonight, Jimmy and I are going to have to pick between the rest of you on who goes home. Because if you're not in the top, tonight you are in the bottom. So there won't be a vote. This is just going to be you guys fighting for your lives. Okay? So we'll do it the same way that we did it last time. Mark, we don't really need to hear from you. However, since this is a unique circumstance where you're the only person here, I would recommend not really speaking up. But if there is something that you really feel like you need to speak up, then you can go ahead. So I'm gonna just open the floor and listen to what you guys have to say.
Okay. Well, I'll just go first real quick. I'm just that way somebody else can go. Honestly, I've been very upfront with everybody here, whether you disagree with me or agree with me in the way that we've been, and part of this game in some way, shape, or form. The decisions that I've made, I feel like that I've made those decisions on based upon my own individual opinions, especially based on last round. I know that they weren't necessarily well seen, but anytime I've ever said anything to any of these people here, I've always been upfront about anything that I've said and why I said it and why I had a reason to say what I had to say. And I feel like that a lot of my self-growth has been very focused upon not being reactive to a lot of the negativity and the drama that continues to happen in this game, no matter what situation it pertains to in general. It doesn't have to be my situation. It has to just be a general situation. And I feel like that other people also need to focus on the fact that sometimes a lot of the stories that we all have right now, we have to figure out where they're going next, or they're sometimes not going anywhere. So we have to really kind of figure out exactly where everybody lies in their story.
Okay, I guess I'll go next. Are you done, Constance? Okay. I'll go next. So I think for myself, I definitely feel like I've improved throughout this game and learned about myself and other people. And of course, there's always room for more improvement. And I feel like it's a journey. It's, it sometimes takes time. Like for me, I know, and I know this about myself and going back watching myself, and I've heard it from other people. And I feel like I like to get constructive criticism and feedback. And I know I interrupt people, right? And I know that's like an issue of mine that I've always had, and I'm trying to work on it and letting people speak and be done and hold my thoughts and wait. I know I sometimes ramble, like she said in the podcast, like sometimes I go off topic and just make things more concise. So I feel like I'm learning on that. In that, I definitely feel like I've been growing since the beginning with the whole, situation with certain people that are out of the game, and learning how to like pick my battles and disengage in certain situations and not, make it worse by trying to, be the defender of an argument. So I feel like I've definitely improved and learned since then. Obviously, aside from this challenge, and I think Mark did an amazing job, and but I feel like for the most part, I've been definitely like getting along with everyone, and I feel like I have been doing decent in the challenges. I went from losing every challenge last time, like I said, they were more physical, to doing more decent in these types of challenges that are more, I guess, social based, because they're more like talking based. So yeah, I definitely feel like that I know, I know how to work on my strengths and weaknesses to, always better myself.
I guess I'll go next. So for me, I mean, yeah, I started this game off, quiet, and I lost the first two teen challenges, which were the fashion show and the fundraising video. But I think from there on, I've been steadily picking up speed. The debate challenge I did really well in. I got to the second round, so that's to count for something. And then even in the podcast, I feel I think I did really well. I mean, all that happened was I got a phone call from a spam number, and it just, for some reason, if you get a phone call on StreamYard, it just cuts out. So I'm like, it's a little frustrating for me, because I'm like, oh, if only I didn't have that phone, if only these fucking spammers, But yeah, I've been gaining speed. I've come out more in my shell. I've been doing well in these challenges, similar I think to Debbie, just very decent. I feel like I've been doing well, and I don't think it's my time to go.
Ida, did you want to go?
Yeah, so what was the question again? I'm sorry.
I think it's why
Okay.
you shouldn't be in the bottom. I think that's kind of what the question is.
I'm
Why you shouldn't
leaving
be.
it very open. I'm just listening right now.
All right. I think I did good. I'm actually shocked, because I'm like, dang, I wasn't like last place or anything, and the past games I've been last place, and this time I was in second place, and that's close to first place, and I was screaming. Y'all didn't hear me, but I was screaming. I was like, ain't no fucking way. Because I know Debbie know how to talk. Ain't no way. And like my heart was beating. I thought Debbie had that in the bag for real. I think I'm doing better at the challenges. I'm understanding more, and I'm proud of myself for doing it.
All right. So I don't know. Are you done?
Yes.
All right, boo.
Sorry.
All right, boo. All right, BB. So for me, like honestly, I'm here because I got disqualified for the challenge. Otherwise, I would have won the challenge. I would have been saved by Mark. And it's what it is. So all I will say is that I've been doing what I can do and actually trying to show growth and trying to be friendly and open to everyone. Constance and I definitely had a disagreement in the last chat, last live. And the reason why is because Constance has come off as being very fake. I never understood why Keon was attacking him before about being fake. But as the show continues on, you see Constance showing him true self. You see him doing what he's doing, the things that he posts in the group chat. I honestly don't feel like that is like a personal growth. I don't feel like it's a growth. And if it's a growth, it's very fake-ish. I feel like whenever we look back at it, it's going to come off in a certain way. When Jay got eliminated, he started to open up and he started to be more sexual. He started posting things. He asked to twerk. He talked about my bulge and my shorts. He talked about his gay camping ground. He talked about who he fucked. He talked about all these things in the house chat. Something that maybe some people are not comfortable with, but he definitely posted it in that chat, and that's okay. That's cool. But number one, it's like there's like when we start to look at growth and we start to look at certain things, there's certain things that we can talk about. Just like last night, and since they want to say that I was a diva, they wanted to talk about Beyonce and they wanted to talk about some artists that I didn't know. And I was like, nah. They wanted to talk about television shows. And I said no. Right now, I've shared on the last chat that I'm kind of homeless. And so do you think I have television that I'm going to be able to watch? No, I can't talk about television. So I gave them real topics that I could talk about. And Rafi was the only one who came against me and said, we're not talking about that. We're not talking about that. You did, girl. Don't start it. You started it. You said in the chat that we can talk about Grinder or we can talk about Pride. And then I was like, okay, with Grinder, we could talk about catfishing. We could talk about catfishing with Grinder. I opened it up and said that we could talk about these different things. And then you said, no. So Cody, we're not talking about Grinder. That was your comment. That was your comment. And guess what? I didn't get the opportunity to go to the principal's office today because I was dealing with my daughter. So when you want to go in there and say that I was like, I'm going to be a father. Yeah, I'm going to be a father. So I'm going to take care of my daughter right now. So I was at her graduation for 5th grade. And I wasn't able to go talk to the principal's office. So I wasn't able to go talk to people how divish that people were within the chat or how people were hiding. So please don't put your fingers up. Do not. Do not.
Okay.
And so no. Okay, go ahead, Dylan.
I'm just gonna step in. So
I'm just laying it all out. When we want to lay it out, let's lay it out. Let's lay it out. Let's be real.
I understand. Okay. So there's a couple. So I feel really overwhelmed because there's so many of you here. And just because I haven't had a minute for myself yet, because I went from work to principal's office to here. So I'm just trying to collect my thoughts. And it's just I've been listening to everyone's opinions for like the past like 2 hours. So I'm gonna lay out what I'm hearing from all of you. And I'm just gonna have a rundown and I'm gonna put everything out in the open. And it looks like I'm okay. So from what I understand, with Cody, Constance, and Rafi, the three of you had a disagreement on what your actual podcast was going to be. And from what it sounds like is that Cody, you had an opinion on what you thought was going to work for the podcast. And then Rafi and Constance had your opinions on what was going to work for the podcast. Is that right?
That's not right. That is not right. I can sit here and send whoever needs the screenshots and whoever needs the messages. Rafi was the only person who was talking. Constance sat in silence until it came up with like, we concur with 3:30. So he hid until it was time to talk about what time we were going to do the podcast. He didn't say anything about what the topic was going to be. He hid because he knew that I was coming and I was upset with him nominating me for the bottom because of strategy. But obviously, all you're doing is being strategic. Who are the Powerpuff Girls? Please tell me that. Who was that? I want to know who the Powerpuff Girls are. So don't sit here and say
The Powerpuff Girls were.
Don't sit here. Excuse me. Don't sit here and say that Rafi and Constance. Don't sit here and say that Rafi and Constance were part of a conversation when Constance didn't say shit at all.
I'm losing my mind with y'all right now. Like, and maybe it's just because I'm not in any of the groups. I'm just gonna be real with y'all. At this point, I don't really care about any groups. I feel like all of you have had groups at some point or another, just from what I'm hearing. So I'm not even really focused on that. I need to get to the bottom. I need to get to the bottom of something else. So there's a disagreement between Ida and Debbie from what I was told. And I wanted to give Debbie the chance to tell me her side because I've only heard one side of the story. Was that you and Ida haven't really been getting along because Ida told you about her occupation, you didn't believe her. So I want to know your side of it.
Okay. So that wasn't the only thing. So I didn't think that we didn't really get along. I was trying to connect with her and open up and asking her like where she lived and what she did for work. And I actually thought like today was better. Like her and I have had a nice conversation today. And so the way she told me, and like, you know, I said I wasn't going to mention this, and I'm not going to mention the person's name, but the way she told me sounded like she was joking around. And I did hear from someone that she wasn't serious about that, but I don't care what her occupation is, whether that's her occupation or not. It just sounded to me like the way, like, you know what, I'm going to tell, like, I thought that she wasn't serious. So I, you know, would have definitely loved to work it out for her and I to have a conversation and come to me to talk about it because I am a rational person. And me when I put her in the bottom that time really was based on like challenges and performance in this show. So yeah, I do, like I said, I do apologize. And I did apologize to Ida. I know I saw that on the house chat. She was like, I'm targeting you. And like I said, I have no ill will towards her. I don't care what her occupation is. I don't care what anyone's occupation is. It was talked about last night. Like, I don't think I'm better than anyone. So I think that was a misunderstanding on that specific conversation or that specific topic.
Okay. Ida, what's your perspective on it?
She said something about we could have talked about it and talked it out, but after I told her she wasn't saying anything, and if she really wanted to talk about it and talk it out, she would have, without it being brought up on a live. She only cared when it was brought up on the live. She would have never messaged me back had I not said anything about it.
When was it brought up on the live though? I don't remember. Maybe it was.
Last night is when it was brought up to your attention. You was like, oh, I think she was lying. And now today,
right.
Like, well, I was willing to talk to her about it to fix this and that, but you weren't. You still didn't. And I had, it's like I'm forcing a conversation with you.
Well, I mean, if you feel like it's forced, I do feel like you and I have gotten along and had some nice conversations today. So I'm sorry you feel that's forced, but I feel like we were talking. I was like, oh, like I just being like, we are getting along. Regarding me bringing it up, it was, I don't recall exactly. It was probably based on like what I thought, who I thought was being real and serious. Like I said, I'm not going to call anyone out. It was brought to my attention that you weren't serious about that, but I don't really care if that's your job or not. I just thought you weren't being serious and like we're kind of like joking around and like not being real to me because people were talking about fate.
Thought she was joking because Ida is a very joking person.
Exactly. The way she voice messaged it to me and was laughing, like, you know what? I'm just gonna tell you, I'm going to school. I'm gonna be a stripper, and she was laughing. So to me, the context of the voice note she sent me sounded like she was joking and laughing because when I asked her where she lives, what she does for work, it's just the way I have icebreakers with people. It was like none of your business. She didn't want to tell me. So again, I don't really care what someone does for work. It was more like I just didn't think she wanted to be real with me because she thought I was judging her, which I think that's a total misunderstanding because I never said anything about it. Her and I didn't talk, but it was more so because I didn't think she wanted to talk to me and have a serious conversation. It had nothing to do with her occupation. I mean, we all have different occupations here.
Okay. So what I want to do right now is I'm gonna go to each of you really fast, and I'm just going to say what's going through my mind on whether I would keep you or whether I would get rid of you, and then I want to turn it over to my assistant headmaster, and then her and I got to figure out what we're gonna do. So just to go down the line, I'm going based on the lesson and based on how you've been this season. So Constance, with you, we kind of talked in the principal's office a little bit about how I feel like you're a very structured type person, and sometimes it could come off as scripted. And from what I saw with the podcast and what the critique was of you, it kind of transferred over on there. Where you're kind of in danger tonight is that you were the weakest person on your team, according to Naomi. Now, is that because you just had two people on your team that really excelled, or is it just because you were lacking? That's really where we have to figure that out. As far as behavior this season, I guess I would say my critique from you as well, and I thought about it more with this whole argument, is that I can't recall a time where you came to the principal's office and we didn't talk about something other people did. And I could just be forgetting because it's been so long, but that's something that's kind of going through my mind as well, is you have been in a lot of drama this season, whether it's your fault or not. So that's just something I'm thinking about as well. And you guys will have more chances to talk to us. I just want to get these feelings out, and then I want to give Jimmy her time to say what she wants to say. Ida, as far as what the meaning of this show is, I really feel like the show was meant for people to change how they were before. And I feel like you've been someone that has done really well in that aspect. You've changed how you've approached people. Do I think that you've made a full 180? No, I still feel like you have parts of yourself where people maybe don't take you as seriously, or you're very blunt, you say what you mean, and it can cause drama with people. But this is like a 2-3 week game. Like, you're not going to change overnight, but I have seen effort from you to change those qualities about yourself that made people turned off by you the first 2 times you played. Where you've really lacked, in my opinion, and I told you this, is in the challenges. So far you did pretty bad in the last 2 challenges. But what's saving you right now is, according to Naomi, you did really well in the podcast, and I got to listen to you a little bit, and you were engaging. So you were in the top 2 for your team. So that's where I think you did really well. Hearing this little issue with Debbie, that's just something that's weighing on my mind as well, about whether you're staying or going. Cody, it's a shame that you have to be down here because of the rule break. I feel like you're kind of on an opposite end as Ida. I think in the lessons, you've done a really good job at excelling and taking the best parts of your personality and bringing them there. Like in the date challenge, Elaine said really great things about you. In the debate, even though you didn't win, I felt like you had Really great points. In this challenge, I think you're someone just like made to be an on-air personality. So I think that's amazing. I think where you're fumbling a little bit is I'm seeing season 12 Cody come back. And tonight's the night where I'm really seeing it from you. Like, and I don't think I've really seen it up until this point. But just this whole situation, like, I just really wish that I get that he put you in the bottom, but just focus on yourself. This was the same issue that Keon had in the beginning of the game, where I don't know what drama he was in or whatever, but he was too focused on the drama aspect of it and the game aspect of it, when really the only thing you got to worry about is yourself in this game, and excelling in the challenges. And tonight, that's what really tripped you up. So it is weighing heavily on my head that you sent this, you forwarded this message to the chat and you got involved in this drama. Because if it wasn't for that, you would have not been on my radar tonight at all. Rafi, you did really well in the lesson. I feel like you've been very consistent in the game. I think the only critique for you is that you've had a lot of, if we're thinking of this in Drag Race terms, you've been like high, like when it comes to the critiquing. You haven't really had any low lows. You haven't had any really high highs. You've just done consistent. You've been consistent. And it's just, we're at the really end stages of the game and we got to start thinking, who are we going to crown? Who's going to represent this season? And then the last person is Debbie. Debbie, I feel like you have a similar issue where there's times where you fall back into your bad habits. And I don't think you're the type of person where your bad habits are fighting with people, but sometimes talking for too long, responding before listening. And I think that's part of where your and Ida's disagreement is saying something before fully hearing someone out. And that was what their critique was for the lesson. And I think that's why you fumbled the ball in this lesson. You didn't do awful. Like Naomi said, you still did a pretty good job, but it sounded like you had one of the harsher critiques. But where your positive is that I feel like you really, picked things back up in the second half of the game. You've only been called down to the carpet when it was by default. You've been doing really well consistently in these lessons, even in lessons that I didn't think you were going to do well. So it is a really tough decision. But I'm done talking for now. I'm going to let Jimmy take over if she has anything that she wants to talk to you guys about. And then, yeah. So I'm going to pass it over to my assistant headmaster.
Hi guys. I really don't have anything extra to say. I guess I should probably put on my porch light. I don't have really anything extra to say. I have been listening. I have been paying attention. I have been remembering what has been said in the principal's office, and I am remembering critiques that I've given to people that I feel like may have been heated and maybe not have been heated. So with that being said, me and Dylan have some conversations to have because this deliberation might be a little bit tough. It's not going to be an easy agreement because I'm looking at things. We are getting to the end. At the end of the night, we are going to be at the final four. And I'm not 100% sure we agree on who should be in the final four. So with that being said, I have no questions for any of you. Good luck.
Jim, do you want to head over and have our deliberation?
I do have a question.
Sure.
So you said that I was in the bottom, but I was just disqualified from the challenge. It wasn't me put in the bottom. So there should be 3 people in the bottom besides me.
We said in the beginning that what production said to us was if you're not in the top, you're in the bottom. There's no voting. Everyone's up for elimination.
Oh yeah. So we're all in the bottom.
That's not our ruling.
All right, I got you. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I apologize about that. Thank you.
Okay. Is everyone else good for us to go deliberate? We'll still hear from y'all, but we need to talk things out and have a pretty general idea. All right, I'm going to open up a breakout room for me and for to go discuss.
Ooh, child, get G with it. I'm in the top 4 and it's my first season.
Girl, bye.
Congrats, Mark. Congrats, Mark. Wait, Mark, I didn't realize.
Congrats, Mark.
I just want to tell Cody because he was hating on me.
Girl, bye. Get out.
You mad.
I would have been there with you. I would have been there with you too, but listen, my slip of the fucking fat thumb, girl.
Well, look at that. I'm at 24-hour fitness, girl.
I'm
So
done.
Mark, I didn't realize I've only been on like one podcast. I thought she was moderating and we were answering her questions. I didn't realize we were supposed to ask her questions too.
I feel the exact same way. They gave me that same critique when I asked, and I was like, I didn't know we were supposed to ask questions, or I would have asked. I was under the impression that we were only supposed to answer the questions and be prepared. And I even reread it, and it said be prepared to answer questions. But I was like, whatever, I'm not going to argue with them. But I felt the
You won,
exact same
but
way.
yeah. Ida, did you ask questions?
Who do y'all think they send it home?
All today.
Everybody.
Everybody.
I
They're
really
gonna
don't
call
know.
me.
I feel like we all. Wait, so Ida, did you ask questions? Because we didn't hear yours. Because you did really well.
The only question I asked was, "How you doing?"
Oh, okay.
What did you guys talk about?
Ours was relationships. So I did get off topic a little because she was like, oh, what do you teach your kids about relationships? And my kids are so young. So I was like, well, I teach my 4-year-old to love everyone. I teach my 10-year-old no bullying, like love, not hate. So it was off topic of relationships, but like my kids aren't in like loving relationships. So I kind of had to think of like, what am I going to say?
Like the meat and potatoes of the conversation was monogamy and is it the way to a successful relationship? So we were talking about like monogamy, polyamory, open relationships, and I figured we'd be able to talk, Debbie having a successful 17-year marriage, me being in multiple different relationships, open, closed, etc. And then Ida said that she was comfortable talking about that subject as well. So I figured it was something fair that everybody could kind of excel in, and it could put us all on the fair playing field.
Yeah, we like improv. I mean, I don't know if you guys had anything practiced, but we just kind of talked.
Yeah, we just went in there.
So Rafi, as I said in the I'm gonna talk now. So Rafi said in the one chat that we should talk about
what they put on the shoes.
He said that we should talk about a certain singer, Beyonce, and someone else. Don't know them, so I shut that down. And then it was what television shows do you watch? And I shut that down.
That is simply
I don't watch television shows.
Happened.
Oh, wait. Do I need to read?
You're either lying
do I need to read what
or
you wrote?
you're delusion. You can read
let me
it.
read.
I
let
don't
me read.
care
Let me
because
read.
I know
let
I'm
me read what you wrote.
Cody.
Let me read what you wrote.
Okay,
let me read what you wrote. Because I'm all about receipts.
Okay,
like,
read it because
I'm all about receipts. I'm all about receipts. And so with receipts, you said, okay.
Let's start at 10:13 p.m. where I said, while we wait for Cody, because we were waiting for Cody to
While we wait for Constance, Cody, do you have any ideas for a topic? I figured it'd be easiest to talk about something in media like the TV show, movie, etc. at Cody. Constance comes in and says, hi, everyone. Sorry, Rafi, I just woke up from a nap. It's not a problem. Laugh out loud. We all need laughs. My availability is free mostly whenever. And by the way, Rafi, anytime after 3:30 p.m. How does 3:30 on the dot sound at all? I'm fine with that. Ed Cody, what about you? We'll wait for Cody, but if he's good, I'll lock y'all for 3:30. While we wait for Cody, Constance, do you have any idea for a topic? I'm open to music, most topics. What type of topic do you want to see? As you said, I prefer something media-based or show-based. What kind of show are we watching? I recently watched Yellow Jackets and Drag Race All Stars. My music taste varies. Boo, boo, boo. Rina Sawani, Beyonce, Lord.
You don't have to mispronounce someone's name to be rude to me, but continue.
But no, how do you say it? Because I want to make sure that I pronounce it.
Rina Sawayama.
Rina Sawayama, Beyonce, Lord. Don't know nothing about Yellow Jackets, won't agree of the music choices. That might be interesting, though. I know you aren't the biggest fan of Beyonce, so that create a dialogue. I'm not a fan of the Hive. I'm not gonna get on a podcast and diss Beyonce. Period.
All
Period.
right.
It shut it down.
All
I
right,
shut it
continue.
down.
Continue reading. Continue reading.
So, like I said, let's hear what Constance wants to talk about. I'm not going to commit to something I'm not completely comfortable with. Okie dokie. Just like the time situation. What are you comfortable with, though? What are you watching, listening to, etc.? Mental health, being real, narcissistic individuals, being a parent, homelessness, being a veteran. What else did I say? Hold on. Let me cancel this out because I just responded. Being a parent, homelessness, being a veteran, pride, suicide, real topics. Maybe we can talk about grinder profiles, catfishing. I've been watching Catfish on MTV, taking photos from the waist up, giving my opinion. Now I'm going to go back to my full-time job of being a dad. Let me know. That was me, straight up. I gave you options.
Read
Well,
the last thing that I said.
Well, out of all those topics, I'd be comfortable with pride or grinder profiles, not the catfishing, but more so what our varying experience with grinder are and what we look for in a profile. Catfishing and grinder go hand in hand.
Okay.
I understand that, but I don't really know anything about catfishing or having any experience with it, so I wouldn't be comfortable talking about it. Just so you know, it will be brought up. I told you that. It happens when you meet people who aren't what the picture looks like. This is what you said, Rafi.
Yeah, can I? Okay, so
Then we aren't doing grinder, Cody, because we should all agree on a topic we're comfortable with. So that we all have the space to shine in some way. I said agree.
can I say something?
You can keep on going. You can
Okay,
say
never
whatever
mind.
you want to.
So I said that because when you said, just so you know, it will be brought up, it felt like to me you were being pushy and that you were sort of saying, I don't care what you're comfortable with or what you think, I'm going to talk about it anyways. That's what it felt like to me. You can continue.
Okay. So okie dokie. Either be real with Grindr and not using old pictures or no pictures at all. Use the right details to describe yourself. That is catfishing. Being real and not fake is a good topic then. And you go, and what would we talk about with that? I said, you figure it out. I know what I'll talk about for 3 minutes because that's how long I had. 3 minutes.
So at this point, everyone, when Cody says, I know what I'll talk about in 3 minutes, it really felt like at this point that he was just wanting to do what he wants to do and just sort of ignoring what my input was at this point. So I was like, okay, so this isn't gonna, we're in conflicts now.
But if we're talking about Grindr, you don't want to talk about catfishing because you're not comfortable with it.
Yeah.
I know that I've been catfished on Grindr, so
But
I'm going to talk about Grindr. By the way, Rafi, by the way, let's just go back. Let's just go into the following morning where you came in.
No,
No, because you said, okay, so do we want to talk about I'm fine with Grindr after sleeping on it, we get involved catfishing, but I'd rather it be all encompassed, like we talk about the main bad things about Grindr, for example.
They bad. They bad.
I know.
Hey, is everyone here?
Yes.
Rafi, don't play it.
Nice, nasty.
Fuck you and the people that had.
Mark, if you want to come back on
you.
camera, you can come back on camera.
Don't play it, Rafi.
Okay, so the way that we're gonna do this is me and Jimmy discussed, and we went back and forth on a couple of things. I'm gonna give Jimmy the floor, and then I'm gonna deliver what our final verdict was.
Okay, so hey guys. So a couple of things. There have been some things, sometimes all judges are not here all the time. But things are brought to our attention. I will say that one of my decisions tonight, I didn't want to do it. I would say like this. I did want to do it because I feel like if you break a rule, it should have never been a question, but it was discussed and I was outvoted. However, I said it last time with Anthony, you do not ever, 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 and I've done this in my season where I told everybody vote for me and I still didn't vote for myself. You never vote against yourself. I fought really hard for this person to stay, but then I come to find out that you voted for yourself. That's a problem for me. The other person that I voted for is because I specifically told a few of you that you talk too much, you don't listen, and you overtalk. And I even heard it myself today. That you listened to what I said, but then still just talked and talked and talked. And I'm a talker, I get it. But if I can't get you to understand that you can't just keep talking, everything is not about you, and you talk and you talk and you talk, and this is coming from somebody that has done that and to a certain point still does it in their life, and you tell me that you listen to what I'm saying, but you still do it, that was a different choice. So I hope that everything is solid, but my choice, one was pretty obvious and unanimous. The other one, I really fought tooth and nail because I didn't agree with it. But coming to find out that you voted for yourself in the last round was the deciding factor. And that's all I can say to you guys, and good luck. But for those of you that I'm talking to, y'all already know y'all going home. So, because I think you guys know, based on what I said, y'all know what it is.
Okay.
And congratulations to the top 4.
All right. So I'm going to reveal what our decision was. So I'm going to start with saying the people that we decided were safe. So there was 2 people that we immediately took off the table for going home just because of how they performed in the challenge and how they've behaved this whole season. So the first 2 people that are safe are Rafi and Ida. So Rafi and Ida, congratulations. You will be advancing to the top 4. You both got really great critiques by Naomi in the challenge today. And you guys have also just, Rafi, you've been a really consistent player. You really need to come strong though in this last 2 rounds if you want to get that crown. Ida, you've been pretty consistent this season on improving. Listen, you're no saint, okay? But I have seen change from you. Nika has seen change from you. Jimmy has seen change from you. And that hasn't gone unnoticed. And really today you were fighting for yourself. If you didn't do well today, you probably would have went, but you did a good job. So you guys can leave the carpet. So we're down to Debbie, Cody, and Constance. I wanna say my opinion before anything. So I had a really tough decision when it came to where my vote would go. I hate doing double eliminations because I feel like every single round there's a different reason to send someone home. So it just was really unfortunate to have to make this decision. However, I had to take into account a couple of things. I had to look at the lesson, and I had to look at what the show was really about and who we want to represent us. And the first person that's got to go, there was just someone that came to the office today that I was really surprised to hear their opinion on this person, because from an outsider looking in, I wouldn't have expected that because they seemed really close. So I really took that opinion and I weighed it very heavily. Honestly, I weighed it heavily more than the people that I know don't really get along with this person. But Cody, unfortunately, we did have to expel you. And I want to tell you right now that the decision did not come from any of the people that you're having beef with. And if it wasn't for this person coming to us and telling us what had happened at the previous episode and what's been happening in the chat, there might have been a different decision. And I want to say that I really hate having to send you home. Because I think you're a really great person. You're honestly one of my favorite people that I've met. And when we came along to doing Baddies, you were one of the first people I had thought of being on. So when I saw you here, I was very happy. And I hate the circumstances that you're leaving us on. But ultimately that is the decision that was made.
Can I make a statement real quick?
Yeah.
We were at the part where are you telling people who left?
I only told Cody. I didn't tell between the other two.
Cody, because I want to say something to Cody.
Mm-hmm.
Cody, I thought you played a fucking fantastic game. I am very disappointed that you are who I'm sending home today. And I want to make it very clear to you and everybody and the rest of the cast and production that we did have receipts that you broke a rule in the game. If it was up to me, you would never even, you obviously the challenge is already done. You would never been participated. I didn't want you in the bottom. I wanted you gone. And I'm going to make it very clear because you broke a rule. I'm very strict. I'm the strict judge. I'm the strict head mistress, whatever you want to call it. However, when they decided that you were just going to be expelled from the challenge when you should have been safe, I want to make it very clear that him not being safe was the punishment then. Y'all didn't send him home. We talked about this for hours. This has been the conversation for a minute. I felt like if they didn't expel you from the beginning, then you just being in the bottom was not enough. And then based on the challenges and based on what you've been doing, I did not want to send you home. And I was fighting to not send you home because if you broke a rule, you should have been gone for that. But it's my understanding that you did vote for yourself in the last game. And as you guys know, a last challenge. And as you guys know, it's the reason why Anthony went home. I do not accept people voting against themselves. I will tell somebody else to vote for me before I ever vote for myself. And for that reason only, Cody, because this could have been going on for hours, I wasn't going to send you home. With that being said, I wish you the best. I think you're doing great. I think that your your daughter is amazing. I think it's amazing that you're a single father. I think it's amazing everything that you're doing.
So I just want to say thank you very much, Jimmy. I really appreciate that. And Dylan, I really appreciate everything you're saying. And I know I'll have a time, but like, number one, the reason why I voted for myself is because the headmasters came out and said that we're playing this game strategic, and you guys put it in our head that we're being very strategic with our votes. And so for me, when it came to who do you think should be in the bottom, if I go off of the last two performances, I can only judge myself. And so I judged myself, and I made myself be in the bottom because of that. And that's non-strategic. I didn't choose Debbie. I didn't choose Mark. I didn't choose other people who you think that I'm aligned with. I chose myself. I sacrificed myself. That's exactly why I did what I did.
We have no idea who you were strategic with.
Hey, again, because I haven't had a chance to
Don't
talk to
tell
the
that
principal,
lie.
and
Yeah,
I've
we
been
know who
asking
y'all
for 2
lie.
days.
We're not
I've been
stupid.
asking for 2
Don't
days to
tell
talk
that
to the
lie.
principal's office. I've been asking for 2 to 3 days to talk to the principal's office, and I have not been able to.
And I apologize for that. I was not available.
Listen,
I'm not either. Listen,
again, I've been sitting here trying to come to you guys to talk to you guys.
And you know what, Cody, and you are right, because I know that, but I had to work.
Me too.
I had to work.
And so whenever I try to come
Cody,
and talk to you guys about things, I haven't been able to. But other people who are being fake are going to be able to be kept in the game. And
Cody,
that's not okay.
I have to be impartial, but what I will say is you have been asking to talk to the principal's office. Me, myself, I have been at work. I can't speak for anybody else in the principal's office. I have been at work.
I got receipts.
When I wasn't at work, I've spoken to people when I could. I have been at work when you've asked. Personally.
I got
on
receipts.
what? Receipts on what?
I got receipts on me asking.
No, we're not stretching this out. We're not stretching this out. We're not stretching this out.
No, because I kind of want to.
Let me
I
talk
kind of want.
Okay, and you can do that. But I told you I have company. My best friend is here. Let me say what I got to say to Cody, and the decision is made. The decision is made. Cody is out. But Cody, when I made my speech, I'm pretty sure you know who I was talking to.
I know.
Pretty sure both of y'all knew who I was talking to.
I know.
I personally, if you broke a rule, you should have been out before that. But because they made this decision and the decisions they made, I did not feel like you should be out. It was strictly the only reason that we did not fight harder is because you voted for yourself, and that's a strategic thing that you did for yourself. In the future, you never vote for yourself.
Yes, ma'am.
Even you tell everybody else to vote for you, you do not vote for yourself. And
yes,
that's
ma'am.
all I got to say.
Yes, ma'am.
I think you played a fucking hell of a game.
Thank
and
you,
that's
ma'am.
all I can say, because I have to be impartial. I'm going to be impartial, but I'm telling you the reason why I voted for you. I'm telling you the reason why you couldn't speak to me. I can't speak on the other judges. We all have lives. The reason why you couldn't speak to me, I've seen that you want to speak to the principal's office. I'm telling you the reason why I couldn't speak to you is because I was at work.
Yes,
I can't speak on anybody else.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
But I want to make that very clear. This was the vote. This is why.
Okay.
It was a very difficult decision for me. It was not. It was one thing that pushed you over for me that we agreed. And at that point in time, my best friend is here. I gotta eat. Who going home is going home.
Okay.
It ain't no fucking changes to it. And I'm out.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you.
Hey, peace.
Okay, and I just want to say too that I've also been working, and on top of that too, I just want to make this clear again that I did not sign up to host this show. I did not sign up to produce this show. I did not sign up to create all these things for the show. I didn't sign up to have to organize all that. I didn't sign up for that, okay? Because my schedule and my day is I have to leave my house an hour early to go to a clinic where I have to deal with kids all day, right? I do not get back to my house until 6, 7 o'clock. Most of the time, that's when a live has to be done. And I don't have that option anymore where I can just join on my phone. I have to be here on Zoom. Right now, I was supposed to get dinner. I didn't get dinner because I had to host this. Didn't plan on doing that, okay? So I did not have time to sit in a principal's office and listen to y'all. And guess what I did today? I listened to y'all. I still did that. The second that I was out, I was on my phone driving with shitty connection. I was in the gym listening to y'all. I gave y'all as much time as I possibly could. So where I'm getting frustrated is now this is getting flipped on us. Like, and if you're mad that we're sending you home because you voted in the bottom, I'm gonna keep it a buck. That's not even my full reason on doing it. It's just hearing that there was a whole confrontation happening in the main chat that you started because you were voted into the bottom, and then also hearing the disagreements from your teammates. I have to go based off of what I'm seeing, what I saw on the live and all that stuff, and it's tough love, because if this was a emotional decision, I wouldn't want to send you home. I think you did a great job in all the lessons. But
I
it's
don't want to
like,
interrupt you. I'm not trying to interrupt you, but like I'm gonna interrupt you. So number one, like I basically did a season 12 Shelby in the main chat, and you loved it in like season 12 whenever Shelby
but
went.
this is not I Love Money though.
You
But this is
you
not I
loved
Love
it.
Money. But
It doesn't matter.
I'm
It
also the
doesn't
headmaster
matter.
though.
It doesn't matter.
But I'm
Like
also the
I'm
teacher
already
there.
eliminated, and so at this point, I don't care.
So then go. So then go.
And so number
I'm
one,
not trying to bicker back and forth with
but
you. I'm
you
not
want to
trying to
sit
do that.
here and you want to say what you want to say,
No,
but I'm telling you
no,
straight up.
and this is
like,
great, and this is great. Now
exactly,
I have another friendship ruin. It's fucking
exactly. That's what
fantastic.
you
Every
want, and
single time that I have to do this
I
fucking
defend
show,
you.
I get
I defend
crazy
you.
fucking people
I
talking shit
defend
to me
you.
and
I
hating me
defend
because of how
you.
the game works.
I
I'm
defend
fucking
you
sick of
no
it.
matter. I
I'm fucking
defend
sick
you
of
no
it.
matter
Hold on,
what.
I'm muting
And so
everybody. I'm
whenever you
over
want
this
to
shit.
say,
I'm over this shit. I'm over hosting this fucking whack ass show, and every single time I have to host the show, I get you fucking crazy people that go off on me and try to come for my fucking character. I didn't even want this shit to happen because we put the most toxic fucking people back in my fucking network. I'm sick of it. I'm done. Okay, I'm gonna wrap up this elimination and I'm going to get fucking food, and I'm done listening to y'all for the rest of the night. Okay, the second person that we decided to do on was Constance. I'm sorry, Constance. I think you've been doing great all season. It's just I think Debbie's been more consistent, and Jimmy had a note for you to not over explain yourself, and I feel like you did that. Okay, I'm done. Congrats to the final four. I'm ending the fucking stream.